Hello and welcome to another episode of Momento Malum today. In the modern developing world, corn alongside wheat and rice are the primary crops, acting as 30% of all calories. However, an estimated 15% to 20% of the grain in corn is lost each year due to drought. Dr. Bulo Debesa will create a paper that compiles a vast subset of the data on drought tolerance in corn, and here are the results. Drought is a multidimensional stress affecting plants at various levels of their organization. In agriculture, drought is caused by inadequate precipitation, erratic distribution, and limited irrigation. Drought is known to reduce yield up to 60% in corn. This is caused by inhibited photosynthesis, caused by closed-up stomata, and dried-up non-functioning flowers, as well as several other features. Corn has several methods of managing drought: escape, tolerance, and recovery. Escape includes the adjustment of the rate of maturity development, as well as the remobilization of sugars. This allows the plant to complete its life cycle prior to the onset of extreme drought. Tolerance involves methods that prevent water loss, like stomata closing, leaf curling, and wax creation. Recovery is how fast the plant recovers after the drought passes. And all three methods are used in breeding drought resistance. All three traits are controlled by many additive genes. The progress in breeding for drought tolerance has been slowed due to the complex nature of these traits. So improved understanding of the fundamental mechanisms for drought tolerance would hasten the progress in breeding for this trait. As a consequence, several secondary traits that aid in the breeding for drought resistance were found by both public and private institutions. These traits are improved synchronization between silking and pollen shedding. This means that the female flowers that receive the pollen to create the cobs, and the male flowers shedding their pollen, both happen closer and closer together. The other trait that are breeding for is reduced barrenness, reduced tassel size, and increased harvest index, as well as delayed leaf senescence, as well as reduced root length density in the epistral profile. In terms of management, the best ways to deal with drought is irrigation, minimal tillage, proper planting densities, and weed control. Irrigation because it adds water, minimal tillage because it reduces water loss by adding organic matter and maintaining organic matter. Proper planting densities would prevent excess water loss due to too much water being sucked up, and weed control prevents the weeds from using up the water. If you want to donate to my channel, the links are below. If you want to buy my book, you can also find that link in the description box below. The genetic data on breeding has been done by the organization known as the CIMMYT. It was found that the heritability for grain yield had a high negative correlation for anthesis silking interval with grain yield. This means when you improve the relationship between female and male flower ripening time, you also reduce yield. However, this may be to our benefit even still, since the improvements in the former allow the female flowers to become pollinated before drought dries them up. Indeed, the yield improves under drought conditions. The same organization has found genetic markers for improving drought resistance, such as plant height, the synchronization between male and female flowering time, and several other traits. As of the writing of this paper cited, so far 11 cultivars have been released in Ethiopia, with sufficient drought tolerance and yield. There's also a small number of projects still ongoing in the breeding of transgenic drought tolerance into corn. However, it's not gone anywhere as of yet. In modern times, several of the regions in the corn genome that have been discovered to be related to the stress responses have been discovered. With this knowledge in place, it's possible that far more refined, drought-tolerant corn cultivars will be bred in the future. And that will covers everything. Thank you for watching.